Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Listen Up. It is Rye once again with you guys for the game recap video. Unfortunately, Phil is still sick, so he cannot join me again tonight. Couple of notes before we get into this very exciting game recap video. It was another sold out crowd tonight at Gamble Pavilion, and one of those people in attendance was Nika Mule. So good to see her return to Gamble. I saw a couple signs in the crowd for Nika Mule, so I know a lot of people there were excited for her return to see her there, sat behind the UConn bench. Ice Brady obviously still out for tonight's game. She is week to week. And a surprise addition to the injury report was Morgan Shelley, as she was seen in a walking boot on her right foot. Official report on her that I saw, it's a right ankle injury, and she is without a timetable for her return. So, not sure how long she will be sidelined, but definitely unfortunate for Morgan Shelley. So, UConn now down to just 10 available players, but a positive sign though. Caroline Ducharme continues to warm up with the team during pregame. And now for the game recap. It was a quick start for the Huskies. They went on an 11-0 run, and Azzi Fudd had a hot start. She had 13 of UConn's 21 first quarter points, including three three-pointers. Azzi getting more involved, and she wasn't hesitant to shoot, which is nice to see. Very aggressive tonight, shooting the ball, and I like UConn's aggressiveness as a whole. As a team, they had 4 steals and 2 blocks. Two of those steals were from KK Arnold, making an impact right away, once again, off of the bench. St. John's had a lot of unforced errors tonight and errant passes, which is unusual for them. But again, a lot of that comes from UConn's pace of play and their consistent on the ball pressure at all times. Full court pressure. Azzi Fudd continued to let it fly. She finished the first half with 17 points. Paige Bueckers had 12, including tying a career high 5 blocks, and that was just in the first half. But unfortunately, she didn't get any more to have a career high in blocks. And I like Jana's effort as well. She fought for some rebounds, had a couple nice finishes down low, had a couple nice layups. UConn needs her to play more like a 6'5" center. I know that might sound funny, but it's true that the Huskies need her to dominate the paint and be that big, tall presence down low. UConn already up 45-20 at the break. The Huskies, they had a good start to the third quarter as well, and Joe Tortorella was not happy with his team having to take a very early timeout. He was not very happy with his team the whole game, understandably so. Like I said, they made a lot of unforced errors, definitely not their best game, but UConn, a lot of credit to that. But St. John's, they came to play tonight, had a pretty decent game, but Coach Tortorella not happy very many times during this game with his St. John's Red Storm team. But UConn, they got a little sloppy in the middle of the quarter as well. And the Red Storm did take advantage to that, but luckily Azzi Fudd was not done scoring as she reached not just her season high, but her career high in points. How about 34 points with just 10 minutes left in the game? St. John's didn't score for the last about 6 minutes of the quarter. Huskies just picking their pockets, interrupting passing lanes, and getting a lot of blocks as well, of course, along with steals. Azzi Fudd, seventh player in program history with 8+ three-pointers made. Her final line, of course, she only played about a minute in the fourth quarter, so ended with 34 points on 13 of 22 shooting, including 8 of 14 from three. Obviously, just an outstanding shooting performance from Azzi Fudd tonight. Really nice to see. Career high in points. unbelievable night from her. Loved her aggressiveness, just catch and shoot. We all know how quick of a release that she has. So hopefully she saved a couple of those points for Sunday as we have a pretty big game coming up. So hopefully she can continue that performance. Paige Bueckers had 16 points on a very efficient night from the field, including 5 blocks and 4 steals. Aubrey Griffin had a very productive night, very productive minutes, 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks. The way she just comes into the game, fights for the rebounds on both ends, always fighting for the ball, getting blocks, which is nice to see. And when Aubrey scores, it's just an added bonus. And Janelle Alfie, I think she had an up and down game, but I think it was mostly up. She ended with 7 and 7, 7 points, 7 rebounds. I liked her aggression for most of the game, and we need that from her. We need her to continue that for the rest of the season. Very important for this team if she's able to rebound and score. Final score from tonight's game: UConn 78, St. John's 40, and UConn is actually the first team to score over 75 points on the Red Storm this season. Again, Red Storm, usually a pretty good defensive team, but unable to stop pretty much anything Azzi Fudd did tonight. But we'll go ahead and jump over to a couple comments from the last check-in video, and we will start with Eric Taylor. They said Paige needs speed. She needs KK to start. Aubrey needs to slowly come along. We need her for the tournament. We need 3-point shooting from the bench. Well, I definitely agree with that. I think Kaylin Chen, not much of an impact again tonight, but I just, like I said, I really can't see Gino changing the starting lineup this late in the season. But, even though KK does come off the bench, he still gets around 20 minutes per game, almost 25. So, and he brings her in about 5 minutes into the game. She's able to make a pretty good impact early in the game. But I do agree, we do need more speed in that starting lineup. I think they just need to be more aggressive overall and pick up the pace of play and pick up the energy more specifically for that starting lineup, because KK, as soon as she comes in, you can definitely feel a little bit of a shift in a positive way as in terms of the energy goes. But yeah, Aubrey definitely a great game tonight. Slowly coming along, definitely. So she's going to play a really big role. I mean, not only in the next game, but for the whole entire season, like I continue to say. And the 3-point shooting, I think it was pretty good tonight. I'm not sure what UConn scored at the final 10 of 24, so about their average 10 threes. Of course, AC Fudd had 8 of those. Not many threes taken anywhere else, but or not many threes made anywhere else. But UConn, they're going to average around 10 to 12 per game. But I do agree they need a couple more from Ashlyn and possibly KK, even though it's not her game off of the bench. Of course, losing Morgan Shelley now indefinitely doesn't really help them from threes off the bench. We'll go to another comment from they buy them for the gum. They said never seen UConn not have a starting lineup that wasn't working. I think they meant to say that wasn't working this late in the season. We still don't know what works, and the loss at Tennessee has put this team in a very bad spot, being seeded in March on a 3 seed. Yeah, it was a bad loss, but like I said, they have another chance to try to prove themselves, making a trip up to Columbia. It is interesting. The starting five, it works against all the other games except the ones they don't win, right? That's when the glaring issues really come along. But during all these Big East games, I think it's been working pretty good. Kaylin Chen's had her ups and downs. She had about 4 games in a row there where she was really able to make a nice impact, including a bunch of scoring. But I think the bench does a pretty good job. like I said, I can't see Gino changing the starting lineup, but I think he's going to go more guard heavy. But not sure against the game at South Carolina. They're a bigger team, so we'll have to see what he does with the bench players and how he decides to work that. How many minutes he gives Jana as well. Last comment we'll go to from Brorick. They said, I think the Huskies are just about ready to turn the corner. Well, I certainly hope so because, like I said, they got a big one on Sunday against South Carolina, and it really feels like they still have a good amount of momentum, a good amount of confidence. Tonight was definitely a really good game. It should have boosted Azzi Fudd's confidence by a whole lot. But I think we're in a pretty good spot. It's definitely going to be disappointing if the result Sunday is another loss. I think that would just shoot them to the moon if they're finally able to get a quality top tier, top ranked win against one of those opponents. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Again, pretty exciting game. Azzi Fudd career high. Final score, UConn wins 78-40. And I will see you guys Friday morning for a very important last check-in against South Carolina. But that's going to do it for me. Have a great night. It's been Rye on Listen Up.